When you look around, from the skyscrapers that just scrape the clouds to the massive bridges that connect our cities, our entire world is literally held together by seams of molten metal. It's this incredible art form, really, done with electricity and fire. But it's not just about melting steel. It's about total control, it's about precision, and sometimes it's about going head-to-head in a battle against gravity itself. I mean, it sounds impossible, right? How do you possibly keep a puddle of liquid steel from just, well, falling on your head? That is the big question we're going to answer today. It's the challenge that separates a rookie from a true pro, and it all comes down to cracking a kind of secret code of numbers and letters. So, before we can even think about tackling that upside-down stuff, we gotta learn the lingo. The instructions for any big job are written in a code that tells a welder exactly what kind of joint they're making and, most importantly, what position they have to be in to do it. And it all starts with two little letters, F and G.
Okay, so first up, you've got the F for fillet weld. Think of this like filling in the corner where two pieces of metal meet at a right angle, kind of like caulking a bathtub. Then you have the G for groove weld. This is where the edges of two plates are literally shaped to create a groove or a valley that you then have to fill in. And for what we're talking about today, we're going to be zeroing in on that G series, because that's the one that's crucial for all the heavy-duty structural work.
Now, attached to that G is a number, and this is where it gets really interesting. That number tells the welder their position relative to the piece they're working on. And you can totally think of them like levels in a video game. Each one gets progressively harder as you find yourself fighting more and more against the pull of gravity. All right, so let's get into it. Every single welder out there starts their journey with flat plates of steel. Mastering these first positions, it's completely non-negotiable. This is where you learn the feel of it all, how to control the heat, your travel speed, and that little molten puddle that's going to become your finished weld. We begin at 1G, the flat position. This is basically welding 101, the tutorial level. The plates are just laying flat on a table, and you weld right across the top. Here, gravity is your absolute best friend. It helps pull that molten steel right down into the groove, which makes it the easiest position to learn and get a really solid weld. Next, we level up to 2G. Now, the plate is standing up vertically, but the weld seam runs horizontally, right across its face. And this is the first real challenge. Gravity isn't helping you anymore. In fact, it's actively trying to make your puddle of molten metal droop and sag. This is where a welder really has to prove they can control that puddle. Okay, so if 1G and 2G are your basic training, then these next two positions are the major leagues. This is where the real fight against gravity kicks in, and it's where a welder's skill is truly put to the test. Honestly, these are the positions employers are looking for when they're hiring for the most critical jobs. So, welcome to 3G, the vertical position. The weld joint is now running straight up and down, and whether you're welding vertical up, which you do for deep penetration on thick steel, or vertical down for speed on thinner stuff, the challenge is the same. Gravity is just relentlessly trying to pull your molten metal right out of the joint. You have to learn to create a tiny shelf of cooling metal to hold the puddle up as you move. It's a real art. And that brings us to this, a position so tough it's often called the final boss of plate welding. It's the one that has a serious reputation in the industry. It's not just another level, it's the one that makes even the most seasoned welders take a deep breath before they strike an arc. Yep, we're talking about 4G, the overhead position. And this chart breaks down the struggle perfectly. In 3G vertical, your main enemy is a sag. That puddle just wants to droop down the plate. But in 4G overhead, the main challenge is fighting a fall. The entire puddle of molten metal wants to drop right out of the joint and onto the floor. It takes such insane heat control, you're not just welding, you're pretty much defying physics with every single inch. So you've mastered welding plates lying down, standing up, and even right above your head. What could possibly be next? Well, how about taking all of those skills and applying them to one of the most critical shapes in the entire industry, the pipe? The trick here is, the pipe doesn't move. You do. Take 5G. The pipe is just sitting there, fixed horizontally. To weld all the way around it, you have to be a master of 3 positions in one go. You start underneath in the 4G overhead position, you work your way up the side in the 3G vertical position, and you finish on top in the 1G flat position, all in one pass. And then there's 6G. The pipe is now fixed at a 45-degree angle. This is hands down one of the toughest certification tests out there because it combines every single skill, but at this really awkward, uncomfortable angle. It demands nothing less than absolute mastery. So you might be thinking, why? Why go through all this? Why spend hundreds of hours learning how to weld upside down?
Well, it's simple. In the real world, you can't just flip a bridge over or turn a skyscraper on its side to get a nice, comfy 1G flat weld. The job is where it is, and you have to have the skill to get it done, no matter the position.
So here's the bottom line. Mastering these positions is a direct path to a better career. The further up that ladder of difficulty you can climb, the more valuable you become as a welder. It opens up doors to higher pay, more interesting projects in fields like aerospace and energy, and it earns you the trust to work on the kinds of high-stakes projects our world depends on.
And hey, here's a little pro tip for anyone out there thinking about getting certified. In a lot of places, if you can prove you can handle the hardest positions, they automatically qualify you for the easier ones. So passing a combined 3G and 4G test often gets you certified for all plate positions at once. It's all about proving you can win that fight against gravity. So there you have it. From a simple flat weld all the way up to that gravity-defying 6G pipe, each position is a whole new level of skill. It's really a testament to the incredible precision and control that welders bring to their craft every single day. So the next time you see a weld on a building or a bridge, you'll know the story behind it, and you can ask yourself, could you pass the test?